My dad began transitioning to female when I was around 8 years old. Dad got facial feminization surgery and started electrolysis. He grew his hair out and eventually started taking hormones. This was the early 90s. There were no TV shows like Transparent, Orange is the New Black, or Modern Family. No one had the internet in their homes. It was a different time, and I was a little girl. I desperately wanted my family to be like the Tanners from Full House or the Keaton family from Family Ties. You know, normal, right? Around that time, we moved from Chicago to a small, quaint town in northern Michigan. When my dad, now known as Trisha, walked down Main Street, my sister and I stared hard at the ground, our faces burning with shame. When she sang falsetto loudly in the supermarket, we prayed that the floor would open and swallow us whole. It was as though our dearly departed prince were dancing around the streets of our small town in his assless VMAs costume. And though that sounds amazing, at the time we were mortified. Sorry. My mom, Marcia, struggled with her identity in her changing relationship. How could she, a straight woman, remain attracted to Trisha? My sister and I pushed hard for a divorce. It just seemed like it would be so much simpler. But through Trisha's transition, inexplicably to me, my parents stayed together. Then in high school, my best friend came out as gay. In high school, my best friend came out as gay, and it was the first time I knew someone my own age who was LGBTQ. Even though I grew up with a transgender parent, it took my best friend to put me in Trisha's shoes. I began to empathize more with Trisha, and I saw her as a person and not just my parent for the first time. I started to make an untitled film about LGBTQ families in 2011 because I wanted to tell our stories so that other kids who grew up feeling a little bit different would know that they're not alone. At first, the film was going to be a survey of many families, mostly because the thought of making a personal film was just terrifying, too revealing. But I found that my parents were warmer and more open with my camera than I expected. And so after talking with them, I changed the focus of the film from other families to my own. I don't think any of us expected at the time that we'd get a grant from the Sundance Institute, or that we'd open the film theatrically at IFC Center in New York during Pride Week 2016, a couple weeks, or that the film would broadcast nationally on October 10th, 2016 on POV. Check your local PBS listings. I've always wanted to say that. During this whole journey, Family Equality Council has been an incredible partner. I first reached out to them in 2011, and they were enthusiastic and supportive from the very beginning. They put me in touch with a transgender woman named Denise Brogan-Cater, the organization's state policy director, who also happens to be a parent and a grandparent, and who's become a dear friend of mine. I've also met with younger kids of LGBTQ parents in my role as a proud, outspoken Generation member. I hope that by telling my family's story, we can normalize what it means to be transgender and continue to open people's hearts and minds to rainbow families. Thank you to the Family Equality Council so much for your ongoing support and for this incredible award. And finally, Mom and Dad, thank you for letting me make this film. You're strong, you're honest, and you're incredibly brave. Thank you.